Here's everything that sucks about the HP Omen laptops. I think I've had this long enough to pick up all the little things that I really don't like about it. There's all the good reviews out there, so let's talk about all the bad stuff. Firstly, just the look of it. I do actually like the look. That doesn't suck too much. It has a carbon fiber finish. However, I was concerned that HP was just gonna kind of mess up, because I think this is their first time doing a gaming series with the little new logo there and everything. And with that red keyboard, it just seems like it's screaming like, hey fellow kids, look at this nice snazzy red keyboard here for your fun little PC games. And that's kind of true. I kind of get the feel from that. And at the same time, the construction doesn't feel that sturdy. Yes, you've got that carbon fiber finish, but I think it isn't actually carbon fiber. Even if it is, it just feels like a bunch of plastic, and it kind of bends easily. It's not like the strongest hinge on there. Even the hinge, I believe, is made of plastic. And then the keyboard itself, it's a bit flimsy. Not super clicky, not super amazing. It kind of sucks. You've got the screen. It is full 1080p. It's 60 hertz, so you will get a 60 frames per second frame rate and full HD. Which, I mean, most stuff, especially for this much money, it really seems like it should be 4K. So, kind of sucks that some pretty entry-level monitor specs you've got going for such a pricey computer. Now there's a speaker. It just goes along the front of the laptop, right in front of the keyboard. Luckily, it's not under the keyboard like Apple computers, which has always irritated me. However, it still doesn't sound very good. It gets pretty loud, but there's no bass. It's kind of tinny. It's about what you'd expect from a somewhat cheap laptop, not necessarily something at this price, so that kind of sucks. Even just the trackpad, there's a lot of space down here, and it's a pretty small trackpad overall. Not amazing to use, but I've never liked trackpads, so I use a mouse anyway. That doesn't really apply to me. Okay, we've talked about all this bad stuff. I guess we should cover the good stuff. Now, you might be kind of confused, because I knew basically all the stuff I just said before buying it. So why would I still buy such a somewhat expensive computer, in my opinion, with all these sucky things about it? Well, I decided to trade that stuff in for the actual specs in the computer. It does have a dedicated graphics card. I think it's a GTX 1050. It is an i7 Intel Generation 7, and there are 2.8 gigahertz. Not a ton of gigahertz, but pretty good. And really, I think you're able to basically save on the actual look and feel aspect and get something that works really well. I do actually like the look of it. Overall, it looks pretty slick and smooth, even if getting hands-on with it, it does feel a bit different. But because I do video editing and some casual gaming, that was more important to me. The dedicated graphics card is usually not very cheap, so that means that you really can do a lot more rendering with video and much easier gameplay. I've played a couple games on this, but I've had zero issues whatsoever. Whether it's Overwatch or Fortnite or whatever else, it looks super smooth. I haven't had any issues other than just connection issues due to my bad Wi-Fi, but it looks and feels very nice, other than a bit of a flimsy keyboard. Trying to use those WASD keys can be a little bit difficult, not amazing accuracy, but it works just fine. And I think it's worth it seeing just how smooth that 60 frames per second is, never drops below that. Video editing, it might have a little bit difficulty rendering a full 1080p 60 video, so 4K, you can't expect that, but it is a 1050, isn't supposed to do totally amazing. However, just downscale it while you're editing, it's really smooth and I have no issues. Basically, this is kind of expensive and it looks okay and it feels even worse, but all the stuff on the inside is pretty nice overall. If I needed another laptop, I would be happy buying this again. Now, I will be honest, I bought the refurbished version to save a little bit of money, but paying full price for this really does seem worth the specs for me. I'm not a total professional on all of the stuff on just how much it's really worth, and I do personally prefer AMD. But with the stuff that I'm getting out of this and the stuff I've used it with so far, I'm really happy with it, and you probably will be too, even though you can't enjoy any super high 4K resolution or a nice clicky keyboard or a huge touchscreen on a nice metal build. But it does the job for me. Maybe you'll like it. You probably will. Let me know what you think of it and your first impressions on it if you've seen it or if you've gotten hands-on with it. I've got a link below if you would like to check it out on Amazon. So I guess I'll see you next time we talk about stuff, whatever it may be.